What's going on, everyone? I want to talk today about yield chasers have been getting wrecked since Ymax funds have come out, and that trend continues. And we're going to dive into that a little bit. And I want to talk about my disappointment with Ymax and my thoughts on that going forward. And to get you in a bad mood before the video starts, right? It's almost football season, baby. Almost for the champs to get back to work. Okay, so let's start here with yield chasers. What happened? Well, when Ymax came out, right? Yield chasers came out the woodwork, right? First it was Tesla, and it was like the only one kind of that came out that was that way. So I kind of get that. I get it. Why the chasing happened with Tesla. As a matter of fact, I did it myself, right? So there we go. But a quick lesson learned there with that one. And then we move on to let's talk about ULTY. Boy, when that thing came out, there was a lot of hope and promise that just frankly never delivered. And once we saw the type of funds that ULTY was holding, I mean, it was a no-go for me from the get-go. You can't expect something to do well when the underlyings are complete trash. Honestly, I don't know how anyone would have expected that to do well. And I don't care what kind of strategy Ymax changes to. If the underlyings are trash, it's going to be trash. There's no two ways around it. That's just the way it is. But I digress. Back to yield chasers, right? So everyone jumped on, not to say everyone, the herd, right? The herd of yield chasers. They move in a flock of lemmings. They go to ULTY. And then they eventually end up, most of them, selling for a loss, right? Because ULTY drops harder than the dividend can compensate. Until things change, that's what it's doing. And then we've seen the herd and the lemmings shift over to AMZ. Now, I've been in AMZ since inception, so I was like, oh, Lord. Got all the lemmings coming into AMZ now. And they were buying it as it was getting pumped, right? So many people were talking about AMZ. But it was at the top. And all you had to do was look at an Amazon chart and say, maybe I should show some patience, show some restraint in my investing style, and see if we get any kind of dip, because this thing is just ripping. And if you know anything about technical analysis, a double top formed, and here we are, right? When people were buying AMZ at the top, for instance, I was shorting, right? People were buying in, I was shorting. And now you're seeing the result of that. People, I see them all the time on like Reddit or Discord or whatever, Facebook even, selling out of AMZ for losses. These are all like the same people, right? Sold out of Tesla for losses. Sold out of ULTY for losses. Sold out of AMZ for losses. And now the herd, where are they moving now, boys? Now they're moving over to Roundhill. And they're jumping on QDTE, which is great. I think it's a great fund. But man, if that doesn't make you raise an eyebrow, that these guys are all moving in a flock and in a herd of morons, wait till RDTE comes out. And they don't understand the dynamics of how Oh, speaking, before I get to RDTE, they all flocked into Defiance and IWMY. Sold those for losses, right? These people continually do the same thing, fund after fund. And they get whittled out eventually, right? Well, wait till RDTE comes out. And they don't understand how the Russell moves. And as it's going up in its channel, they're all going to be high-fiving and celebrating. Wait till it goes back down to the bottom of its channel. And they're going to be selling out for losses again. Fund after fund, the Lemmings just chase the next thing that has any kind of decent yield. And they're not utilizing these funds the best way they can. Buy levels on the chart, buy low, reinvest your dividends if you can, and let the thing grow. Keep the average price as low as possible. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to reinvest. They're not going to average down. They're not going to do any of these things. And they will continue to sell for losses time after time. So I caution you to watch the herd. And if you see the herd gravitating to something, you might want to just lay back in the cut a bit and kind of see how that fund develops. Okay. Now, on to Ymax. About Ymax at inception, it's been great, honestly. I mean, okay, I can't say great. It's been okay. It was great. It was wonderful. But Ymax, out of all the 8 high-yield funds I own, is my only one that's down. Down in share price, like most of them are, but also down with dividends included. I am negative on Ymax and on Ymax, rather. That's really disappointing. Like, the initial thought process and whatever of having all these funds keeping the NAV stable worked for quite some time. Even during drawdowns, it would bounce back up. Well, now we're starting to see, and will be seeing in the future, some real potential problems with Ymax. If they bring in Palantir, that's not good. That's not a great company. That's not Amazon. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And if they start bringing in some of these other Chinese companies, personally, I don't know nothing about, I'm going to have to cut it. And that's unfortunate because it promised really well, but it's not delivering. It's not rebounding to the level that it used to. And you can say, Mike, it's because they're adding all these funds. Well, yes, but the more trash they add, the worse it's going to become. And I didn't mind even Airbnb. I didn't mind it. It's okay. I mean, not a big fan of Airbnb, but it's not Palantir. I'll tell you that. And Airbnb does have some future. Like, there are certain things they can do as a company that they can grow and get bigger over time. Do you see that with Palantir, bro? I do not. And what about these Chinese companies that they may or may not bring online to it? I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut Ymax, and that hurts because I liked it, and I thought it had real potential, and now here we are, right? So that's another thing about investing for me anyway, to be fluid, move like water, be ruthless when things aren't working the way you wanted them to work and to your expectation. It's okay to cut things and move on from it. And that's just probably what I'll have to do. I'll have to see what they add to it. Hanging with Ymax for now. If they add these other funds, I gotta go. Sorry. And I'll find something else I like more that I think can fit that need of a stabilizer in my account. Hope you enjoyed the content. It's Mike, Tactical Stock Scalper, out.